Welcome to the Ithaca College Percussion Ensemble very live concert. So everyone that you see here is in their respective living places, with the exception of Patrick over here, who is actually at the Ithaca College School of Music. And everybody's coming to you in real time. And that was basically the point of this concert. So the concert that you're about to hear is going to be played with a couple exceptions of like introduction videos. All of the music is going to be performed live and in real time. Last spring, when we all went home, uh, we got a chance to make some great videos, and you can find those on our Ithaca College Percussion Ensemble YouTube channel if you want to see some pieces that were created and performed, recorded, edited, everything by the students. You can check those out. They're awesome. But this semester, we wanted to get a chance to play some music live like we were used to. And what that meant was that we had to come up with a different repertoire in order to do that, because live over Zoom or live over any other internet platform, there's a certain lack of vertical reliability in the music, which we all tend to think of as percussion music. Percussion ensemble music is rhythmic and driving, and there's a lot of rhythmic interplay. But we don't have that anymore. So what are we left with? And there's a lot of really great depth to performance that we can find. So that's what we've been exploring this semester. And we have an entire concert that's dedicated to music that can be performed live on the internet. You'll find in the description of the YouTube channel here the order of the concert. You'll also see a link to a Dropbox file that is the concert program for the evening. So if you want to download that file, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can follow along in the description, and we'll keep you up to date as we go. But let's get into the music here. So it's going to be about probably about an hour or so. So if you want to just sit back and relax and get some hot cocoa, this is the time to do it. The piece that we're going to start with here is a piece by Pauline Oliveiros, who sadly passed away a few years ago, but she was a big influence to, I know, a lot of us in the music community. And I wanted to first show you the score for the piece that we're about to play. And as you can see here, it's a text score. So all the instructions are written down, and the sounds that you hear are going to all come from this instruction. And this piece is called Old Sound, New Sound, Borrowed Sound, Blue for voices. And the instructions, as you can see there, are to find an old sound, a new sound, a borrowed sound, and a sound that is blue for us as performers. And then we can make those sounds up to 3 times each. So we're going to invite everyone who's on our call right now to join us. And that includes some of the composers, and we'd love to perform Pauline Oliveiros' piece for you to kick it off as a large community here. So we hope that you enjoy Old Sound, New Sound, Borrowed Sound, Blue for voices by Pauline Oliveiros.
Oh. Hey.
Wow.
Hey,
Hey,
Whoa.
Patia.
Hmm.
Oh.
wow.
Hmm.
Hey,
Oh,
Wow.
Hmm.
All right, thanks everybody. We're going to keep moving in the program here, and we're going to move on to one of our Ithaca College composers pieces. And we have had a great opportunity to collaborate here at Ithaca College with some of the composition students and we have very supportive colleagues here, Jorge Grossman and Avis Samutis, and we love working alongside each other. It's a great opportunity for the percussionists to work with living composers, especially composers of their generation, and make those connections. So when this idea of doing a live concert first came up, I was in contact with the composition department, and I asked them if we could ask for pieces that could be played live on Zoom. And I ended up going into the composition studio class and talking about this fantastic performance by Y Music that they did in the spring of last year, where they actually played a brand new Judd Greenstein piece that was composed with certain elements in it. And they were elements of not necessarily a requirement of vertical alignment, things that were maybe more event-based, wait for this to happen and then you can play your part. There's a variety of different instrument types that we were working with. So those ideas came out in this studio class with the composition students, and we were rewarded with 3 fantastic pieces, and you're going to hear all 3 of those tonight. And they are all going to be world premiere performances of these brand new pieces that were composed specifically for this event and specifically to be played live on Zoom. So a lot of the elements that you're going to hear are going to be maybe large sections where there's a lot of push and pull in the rhythm, and you'll see probably the performers look at each other and do cues like you would see on a regular chamber music stage. The only exception would be, there's sometimes that there needs to be vertical alignment at the beginning or the end of a section or for a specific event. So you're going to see eyes fixed to the screen, and you're probably don't know it, but there's ears that are really, like the performers are really listening intently to what's going on around them. So I'd like to play for you an introduction by our next composer, Nicholas Villane, for his piece. So please welcome the video version of Nico right now.
My name is Nicholas Pauline. I'm a second-year grad student in composition. When I heard about the collaboration project with the percussion ensemble, I was excited to try and adapt my energetic writing style for the challenges of performing over Zoom. My solution was to focus on harmony and texture. I picked 4 chords as a harmonic base for one performer, and then a contrasting set of chords for the other performer that would allow for varying degrees of consonance and dissonance regardless of how they lined up. With a harmonic context set, I could then focus on differing percussion textures to drive the piece forward, like a flurry of notes, swelling rolls, and driving rhythms. Here is Dead Albi.
And let's welcome Patrick and Colin to play Nico's piece. Take it away, guys. Oh yeah, that's fantastic, and congratulations! I know Nico's out there watching this with maybe some friends and family. So congratulations to you, Nico, and to Patrick and Colin. I know that was a challenging one. There's a lot of notes in there. There's a lot of alignment that needs to happen, and so congratulations to everybody. That was a really successful performance, and it's great to have such a great performance for a world premiere. So moving on, another part of our collaborative concert that we're going to be showcasing for you tonight is is that we have some pieces that you're going to hear, like Pauline Oliveiros' piece at the beginning, that and John Cage's pieces throughout the rest of the concert that are a little bit older pieces. These are ones that, in the case of John Cage's pieces, they're a little bit more established in the percussion lore. But in Pauline's piece, I mean, a lot of Pauline's pieces folks know, but maybe not always in the percussion community. However, that we have two sets uh, of world premiere pieces that we're going to be showing you this evening. And the first, as we said, were pieces by Ithaca College composers, and the second are pieces that were made for us by Ithaca College Art Department students. And the next piece that you're going to see and hear is actually one of those pieces by Diana Mejia. And I can't thank the art department enough for their flexibility and just their all-around coolness. I reached out to the art department in the summer with an idea of possibly doing a collaboration, and I was immediately directed toward Paulina Velasquez Solis, who has been so supportive and so awesome, and just a real treat to work with. I mean, we've spent a few hours on the phone together, throwing ideas around, and it ended up with way for me to come into one of the art studio classes, talk a little bit about musical notation of different kinds, and showcase some different kinds of music. And then at the end of that session, we all listened to a percussion ensemble recording and made just impromptu drawings that came back to the percussion ensemble. We looked at them and then just spontaneously tried to interpret those visuals into sound, sent that sound back to the artist, and then got feedback. And it was a really great back and forth with the art department. The two pieces that you're going to hear this evening came from these two students just taking initiative and writing to me specifically and saying, I really want to be a part of this. Can I make you a new piece? And I said, oh, yeah. And we've really loved it here. So I'd like to show for you an introduction to this next piece by Diana Mejia. And this piece is called Swelling Emotions. And here's the video of her to tell us about it.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana Mejia. This semester I've had the opportunity to work with percussionists from Ithaca College. I was able to coordinate with them from the art department, which has been a lot of fun. Rather than your typical score, I created a graphic score, so it's made from drawings and images. The score that will be played shortly, upon which you will be hearing, is called Swelling Emotions. Each color within the score represents a different mood that can be played either with closed or open-ended sounds, which will be produced by various instruments and objects. It's been a lot of fun working with these instrumentalists, and it's been quite the journey this past month or so between classes and then rehearsals and just having fun discussing stuff. And I hope you all enjoy what you hear.
And as you'll see, Diana is a musician herself, and you'll see some musical notations in the piece as well. So I hope that you all enjoy Diana Mejia's piece, Swelling Emotion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, congratulations. Whoa. That's the best scream of the concert so far. Well, congratulations, Diana. I know you're out there watching too, and so congratulations on just being such a great collaborator with us. We've really enjoyed working with you and getting a chance to know your artistic style and your musical styles. So this is a really fabulous introduction to you. So thank you. The uh, So the next thing that we'd love to perform for you is a piece that I don't know if it would be considered to be standard, but it's definitely a standard in my book, and that's a piece called 3-2 by John Cage. And John Cage passed away in 1992, and this piece, I believe, is from 1992, so it's one of the last pieces he wrote. Um, John Cage was famous for writing early on in his career that percussion music is revolution. And there was something really special with John Cage and his connection to percussion music. With the exception of the vibraphone, for some reason, he just didn't particularly like that sound. But everything else he really connected with, and he liked the resourcefulness, and he liked the way that percussion can make sounds out of almost anything. You'll hear that later on also. So what we're going to play is a piece called 3-2 again, and 3-2 was a numbering or a cataloging system for Cage toward the end of his career and work output. And 3, the number spelled out, meant that it was a trio, and the superscript 2 means that it was the second trio that he wrote in this numbers series. And each of these pieces is dedicated towards a specific instrumentation. So he knew that 3-2 was written for percussionists, and so it was specifically 3 percussionists, the second, but it was the second trio he wrote. And what the performers are going to be looking at on their pages, what the parts look like, everything is time stamped. So it says from this time to this time, you're going to improvise on instrument number 1, 2, or 3. And the only directions that Cage gave for the performers was that when you're improvising and exploring the sound possibilities of a particular instrument, that if you want to play a long sound, then it should be a softer dynamic. And if you want to play a short sound, it could be any dynamic. So you're going to hear Patrick and Colin and Nora all perform, and what they're going to be playing for you is a variety of sounds, that some of which they probably know what sound they're going to make, and some of the sounds that they're going to make, they probably don't know they're going to make. So what we've been doing a lot is exploring the different sonic capabilities of different instruments, and the sonic possibilities of textures of 2 and 3 people when they're all collectively improvising. And that's been a fun adventure here when we're exploring the possibilities of Zoom, because a lot of people, when I first pitched the idea of saying, hey, we're going to do a completely 100% live concert on Zoom, the idea was, well, but Zoom won't let you do that. It'll only feature one person at a time. And here we are doing a completely live concert. So looks like we're ready to go. So I'm excited to show you Patrick, Nora, and Colin performing John Cage's late number piece, 3-2. All right, congratulations, everybody. Really nice. It's so difficult um, to have that much freedom in music. A lot of times we get a score and we complain about how much it's dictated to us. You have to play this note at this time at this dynamic level, and it has to have this articulation, and it has to happen now. And that's actually really tricky on its own, but it's also hard when all of those parameters are open and you have to make that up yourself and try to make a convincing musical gesture, and then multiply that times three when you have to do that with other folks, and that's just monumentally more difficult. So congratulations to those three folks who are undertaking a pretty difficult thing there. So next on the program, we're going to feature another one of our Ithaca College composers, and Quinlan Berry is actually here in the virtual Zoom room with us. So Quinlan, are you there? And would you be able to tell us a little bit about your piece? Hi, Quinlan.
Hello. How are you? How are we today?
Oh, this is so great. I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here. So,
Yeah, and I was just I was commenting before we went live that Quinlan has maybe like the sweater award, right? Because you've got the really
let's look at
great sweater.
the Mickey Mouse.
Oh, it's
Yes.
Mickey. That's even better. Oh, fantastic. Well, Quinlan, we love rehearsing and getting into your piece. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
Of course. So my piece is called Alba #1, and an Alba specifically is it refers to old form of poem songs that the troubadours sang during the High Middle Ages. And it's specifically, it revolves around this idea that there are two lovers and they have to depart their ways as the sun rises, and they sing a lament over their departure. And while unlike a poem song, my piece doesn't have any melodic or poetic content. I do hope to capture sort of the emotional universe that these two lovers are facing. And as for the physical components of the piece, as for what the performers are playing, I give them a great deal of freedom in terms of what pitches they play, what rhythms they play, and exactly when they play them. That being said, it's not total anarchy. It's more of if you've pardoned the oxymoron, a controlled freedom, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's really fun because I do feel that, and I think the performers feel the same thing. We've talked about it, how united these parts are, even though they're so independent. You're listening for somebody else to do something, and you're interacting with that sound, but you have your own line, you have your own instrument. It's not a section piece. Everyone's definitely a soloist in their own way.
Yes, I was totally thinking sort of independent parts just having to communicate to each other, really.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I think your piece came to us in that first rehearsal. I don't think you've done any edits since the first rehearsal, right?
Just changing the way some things looked, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting how some things come fully formed and other things like develop over the course of a few times, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're really excited about it. Thank you, Quinlan. And here's the gang, and let's take it away. This is Quinlan Berry's piece, Alba #1. Yeah, congratulations, Quinlan. It's so great to play your music and get a chance to hear you talk about it too. Um, the next piece is actually going to be another Ithaca College composer here, and this is Becky Turro here, who's here on the screen already. I don't even have to say anything. And Becky's been so fantastic to work with, and in addition to being a fantastic composer, Becky's I think you're the teaching assistant for the studio. So all the logistical elements of putting things together and communicating with composers and things. So you have like the right brain and the left brain have combined to create a superhuman. So it's great to see you, Becky, and thanks for all the work that you did to make this happen.
No, thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of your help and all of your organization as well. So, and also thank you to Nora and Patrick for performing my piece and collaborating. And it's just been a really, really great opportunity to just be able to create music with people, even though we're remote right now. So, just like thank you guys so much.
Oh yeah, well it's our pleasure for sure, and it's really great to see the development of your piece from the sketches through what we're going to play tonight. And I don't know if you're going to end up revising it more or not, but it's a fantastic piece, and I love the two movements. They're so unique and beautiful. So can you tell us maybe a little bit about the how that piece has come to be?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So the piece is called Digital Windows, and it's for vibraphone, glass jars, and bottles. And so it's been really fun, kind of like from the sketches, just kind of like playing around with whatever you can find in your like kitchen cabinets, and just kind of like banging around in different things and seeing what sounds cool and what doesn't really work. So the first movement is called tapping. And it's supposed to just represent like someone tapping on the glass of like a window. So you hear like tapping sounds and just like rattling sounds and just a lot of like dead sounds from both instruments. But then the next movement is called blur. And that uses like a lot more of resonant sounds. So you'll hear more of like blowed sounds. So Nora will be blowing into like beer bottles, and then Patrick will be bowing the vibraphone with cello bows and even a row stick towards the later part in that. But but basically, like the title Digital Windows comes from just how like nowadays everyone is kind of like all of our experiences are lived through computer screens, and we only get to see just little windows into everyone's lives.
Yeah, well, I know that behind my computer, it's an absolute disastrous rainforest of mess. But this is really what I love about the piece that you've written is I love the different sounds that you've been able to curate out of the different instruments. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about like Nora's glass jar sounds. I mean, that's not a standard percussion instrument, so there's not really a precedent for how to perform that. But can you tell us a little bit about how you came about those sounds?
Yeah, well, when you sent me some ideas for some pieces, I forget what the title of the piece was, but you had the piece where that had the serrated knife along the rims of the glass jars.
Yeah, that was Stuart Saunders Smith songs 1 through 9, I think.
Yes, yeah. And so that was just really, really cool. So just being able to, so I just tried it myself, and I just grabbed some glass jars and just started like scraping on the serrated knife, and then just hearing Nora and Patrick just like playing it together too. And got to like kind of work out like a good balance, and just to kind of figure out how to stitch it all together and stuff like that. So.
Well, I think it's been stitched together quite well. So thank
Thank
you very much, Becky. We're really excited about playing this piece, and this is the world premiere of Becky Turro's piece. And this is called Digital Windows, as Becky said, and it's in two wonderful movements. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you again, Becky. And Nora and Patrick, you have the stage. Such a great sound world that Becky you got there. That's congratulations, and it's really great to hear the difference that can happen with just two movements in that piece. And I love the way that the jars are used and the bottles. It's really creates a fabulous sound world. So we're going to move on to another piece by John Cage. And in addition to being a lover of percussion, John Cage is also, or was also, a lover of nature and the natural world, and especially he was a mycologist, a person who was an expert in the study of mushrooms, and would lead people on nature walks where he would explore different kinds of mushrooms and talk about them with different people on a Saturday morning, or say. So one of the things that came out of this love of nature and this love of sound, and a question of really like where does music lie in our world, came this piece called Child of Tree. And Child of Tree is a piece that, again, is the structure of the piece, the duration of the piece, or the duration of each section of the piece, how many sections, how many instruments. It's all determined based on flipping of coins and consulting the I Ching. So every performance of this piece is going to be vastly different, because there's going to be completely new instruments, completely new length of sections for each instrument, and the instruments themselves are actually plant matter. And that's the only stipulation that that really Cage talks about, is that it's different different kinds of plant matter. So Patrick and Colin have gone out into their worlds around them and found these sounds. And what we've done is we're going to turn the gain up on the microphones and try to give you a glimpse into the small minutia of what a sound occurs at the very contact level of these instruments. And it gives us a different perspective on the world around us, that there's sounds that we're walking over every day that we may not know exist, but they're there. And we're going to explore them here today. So this is an ensemble version of Child of Tree that Cage titled Branches. So I hope you enjoy. So I'm sure that nobody here will ever uh, walk over a dried leaf the same way again. I know I haven't after exploring some of these sounds and the possibilities of a cactus. Those are some of the most fun sounds that John Cage really introduced us to, was the sound of a cactus tine being plucked with a microphone right next to it, or the sound of dried leaves being shook. So I love the way that we really have an appreciation not only for nature through this piece, but just sound in general. Um, the last piece on our program this evening is going to be a piece by another one of our art students, Tim Kennedy. And before I invite Tim on, I wanted to just say thank you to so many people who made this a great semester. And I know that there's a lot of folks out there who are saying that this isn't a great year and this isn't the this is a lost year. And I've heard that so much, but I think the students here at Ithaca College have really made a lemonade out of lemons in the best way possible. And we're able to explore different kinds of music and different ways of creating that maybe we wouldn't have been our first choice if we were all together. So it's a really a great thing that's happened, and it wouldn't be possible without a few people. And um, uh, without having a really good order in mind, I'll just jump right in and say thank you to Paulina Velasquez Solis, who has been a fantastic collaborator, like I've said, and really been open to a lot of ideas. And we are talking about maybe a possible next collaboration coming up. So there might be more from the art department and the percussion department at Ithaca College. Jorge and Avis, who are just amazing colleagues in the composition department here at Ithaca College, and all of the great support that I've felt from them over my last 2 years here. Uh, of course, this concert would be very, very different if it weren't for our collaborators. The Ithaca College composers themselves, Becky and Quinlan and Nico, and the art students, Diana and Tim. This would be a very different concert. It would look very different and sound very different if it weren't for you. And then my colleagues here in the percussion department, Conrad Alexander and Greg Evans, who have been just fantastic colleagues and really helped me and supported me through my first couple years here. They've been so great, and thank you to you two. And finally, thank you to Nora and Patrick and Colin for being such a fantastic, flexible, and dedicated ensemble to the creation of all these new pieces. So it definitely wouldn't be the same if it weren't for you three sharing your artistry with everyone. So thank you. And before we get going on the last piece, I want to invite Tim to the screen to join us and maybe tell us a little bit about the piece that you created for us, maybe the different versions, and what we might be expecting tonight.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. This is an incredible opportunity. So my piece is called Fermata, and I have been working on it for a little while. As you mentioned, there were multiple versions. I started off with a digital version, which is what you guys were working with for the first practice. But I use watercolor and fountain pens for the piece, and you really do get a lot more kind of character and unpredictability with the actual mediums as opposed to the kind of perfection that you get with a digital piece, which was interesting for me to explore. Yeah, I mainly work with minimalist color and lines to kind of like quickly capture form and like suggest form without like really, I guess, kind of putting it all out in front of you, just because I think it gives more work for the viewer to do, and then consequently more work for the musicians to do. I thought it would translate really well, and during the rehearsals have absolutely blown me away. This specific piece, I really just kind of wanted to capture moments of joy and energy at various intensities, just because, as you mentioned, this year has been hard in a lot of ways. And so I really felt like that was something that I wanted to bring into my world as well as other people's. And yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead with it. Yeah, this has been so fun.
That's great, Tim. We've really enjoyed it, and I know that there's been a really strong positive reaction to your piece, both of them, and we really had a real discussion about which version are we going to present to play tonight, and we've chosen to play the analog version, the watercolors and fountain pens version, even though it was a close race.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, the unpredictability of the mediums was something that at first was really frustrating. But then I sort of tried to embrace it, and it sort of turns mistakes into, I guess, like little features or beauty marks, if you will. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Thank you so much.
Yep, and well, it reminds me it's not unlike the Zoom platform, which kind of decides for you what you're going to hear and present. So, so it's actually a perfect comparison between the medium that you're choosing and the medium we're choosing tonight to present this concert. So,
it really is. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tim, and I look forward to seeing this version of your piece. I'm going to share it here so that the audience can see it as well. And without further delay, this is Fermata by Tim Kennedy. Well, congratulations, Tim. Congratulations, everybody, and congratulations to the folks who are here on the call with us and those here at home. Thank you to Tim and Diana and Becky and Quinlan and Nico's here. Oh, that's awesome. So congratulations to everybody who's been our collaborators. And congratulations to Nora and Patrick and Colin for a fantastic performance this evening. You've put in some great work this semester, and we're going to have a blast next semester. So thanks to everybody, and thanks to you out there for joining us and supporting the Ithaca College Percussion Program. This has been just a really great thrill to share this music with you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on live streams and in the concert hall really soon. So thanks to everybody here on the screen, thanks to you at home, and we look forward to seeing you again. This is Mike Truesdell signing off, and have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.